Good Monday morning, everyone. Nicole Vincent here. I'm so excited to be here on this Monday morning. Today we're going to be talking about emotion code, which is a modality which I am certified in, and it's a modality that I absolutely love and have had a lot of success with. Emotion code was developed by a chiropractor out of Utah. His name is Dr. Bradley Nelson. And he developed this, and he really felt inspired as he developed this modality. He started out as a chiropractor, seeing that his patients would keep coming back for the same issue. And he remembered that, hey, there can be a emotional physical connection, that our emotions can manifest themselves physically in our bodies and create pain and disease. And as he, yay, Amanda, you made it live. You're up early on the West Coast. And as these emotions manifested themselves physically, he's like, I wonder if they're like energetically trapped. And so he started experimenting and just being guided by God, his maker, to kind of figure this out. And it is a beautiful, easy modality that anyone can do. In this video, I have linked to the book. If you're struggling with muscle testing at all, this book, he really goes into the scientific reasons that muscle testing works. So if you're struggling with it at all, get this book. It's really, really good. But he also talks about his modality as well. So today we've got Jerry Grimes on the phone, and so you're going to be hearing her voice as we do our session, as we demonstrate that. But first I want to show you kind of how I set up a session. So first off, you can see I don't have any of my bracelets on. So I'm going to be working with Jerry, and I'm going to be kind of tapping into her energy. And so I want to make sure that I am protected and that she's protected, because she doesn't need to be picking up any of my junk, and I don't need to be picking up any of her junk. So I'm going to look at my little bracelet tray. Remember, we talked about that last week as we talked about stones. And I'm just going to muscle test. How many bracelets do I need for this session? 1, 2. I just need 2. Okay, my first one. This is my go-to, my Merlin Magic, the one that I've shared several times. Hold on, it's one at the bottom. There we go. Okay, and my green prehnite one. Okay, so I'm shielded and we're good. So in emotion code, it helps to have a physical condition. So Jerry, tell us about what's going on with you.
So my right ear has been bothering me since February. I got a really bad ear infection, and my eardrum had burst. And so, now went through the antibiotic cycle, and I've been fine. And just in the last couple of days, my right ear has been hurting. And on a scale of 1 to 10, it's about a 4, and it's tender to the touch. And so that's why I'm here this morning.
Perfect, thank you. So with emotion code, we use the little emotion a chart of emotions, and I shared this earlier in the group as a post. You can see the image, and this is just what I test from. It's 60 different emotions, and I test from this to identify the trapped emotion. We identify the age that got trapped. So Jerry, if you don't mind, how old are you?
I am 58.
And so she's 58. So we're going to identify how many trapped emotions are connected to the pain in her ear. And then we are going to identify how many we can release at this time without it affecting her in a negative way. Because we can release, like, let's say she had 100 trapped emotions connected to her ear. Technically, we could release all 100 of those at one time, but more than likely, it would probably make her super duper sick, because it's like a massive overhaul detox. Because what happens is we experience these emotions, and there's an energetic creation. Just kind of think of like little balls of, like a little baseball, little softball, whatever. And they get trapped, and it disrupts the flow of energy in our body. And when that energy is disrupted, we're going to have physical problems because our systems are not getting what they need. So first off, I like to check if they have any absorbed emotions that are contributing to their problem. Now, an absorbed emotion is when we're acting more like a magnet or a sponge instead of a lighthouse, okay? So, and I'm going to try and hold my hands up so you guys can see on the video, and this could be a good way for you to practice your muscle testing as well. So first off, Okay, I'm connected to Jerry. And I'll do that maybe next week. We'll talk about testing for other people. Right now, I'm just gonna show you that yes, Jerry, we're good. We're connected. So we're testing for Jerry. Are there any absorbed emotions? Yes. Can we release those now without negative side effects? Yes. So Jerry, what I want you to do, and I'm gonna demonstrate it as well, is you're going to take your hand, and in the Emotion Code book, he talks about magnets a lot. Well, guess what? Our bodies, we are magnets. So I typically just use my hand or have my clients use their hand. You can use a magnet. I do have let me see if I can grab it. Oh, I can't. It got shoved back in my cabinet. But you can grab just even a refrigerator magnet, but I personally just like to use my hand. And you're going to take your hand from your forehead to the back of your head, and you're going to flick it off. So we're just basically using the governing meridian that runs from our chin all the way down our spine to draw up and act like a magnet to pull out that emotion that we're identifying. Okay, and right now we've identified absorbed emotions. So this is just stuff that she's picked up from other people. She's been traveling a bunch for her job. She's doing a thing called Diamond Club, where she's visiting a lot of people. She's interacting with a lot of people. And so it's very common to pick up other people's emotions. So Jerry, I want you to take your hand from your forehead, and you can either be touching your hand or you can just kind of hover in front. I kind of hover in front, and you're going to do 3 times, and you just kind of flick it out. 2, 3, and then you're going to take a deep breath in and let it go. And then I test, was everything released? Yes. Okay. Jerry, were you able to do that?
Yes.
Okay, great. So now that we've got the extra baggage that's not even Jerry's, that she was carrying around, which is very, very common for a lot of us to do, now we can get down to her stuff. So how many trapped emotions are connected to the pain in Jerry's right ear? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 76, 77, 78. Okay, so 77. So Jerry has about 77 trapped emotions connected to the pain in her ear. Now, more than likely, this is stuff that she had years ago that isn't necessarily all new. There might be some new stuff there, but there's some new stuff that triggered it that it's now getting to the point that she's been having a lot of ear infection, ear discomfort, and just a lot of problems in that area, okay? Now, it's also important to note the physical or the emotional root connected to ears. And so I'm just going to divert for just a second. So when we've talked about this book before, Feelings Buried Alive Never Die, and this comes in a book. These are just reference cards, but you can get it in a book as well, and I'll link to that as well. But it tells you the emotional roots of our physical issues. So I'm just going to look up ears here. And I'm sure Jerry has already done this, but we're going to just do it for the sake of demonstration. But ears connected, earache, can be feelings of anger at what you're hearing. Ear infection can be connected to feeling stagnated, impatient, or not tolerating new information. The ear is typically being either not heard or not hearing what you want to hear. And so something upon her, and that doesn't mean that all the trapped emotions that we're going to identify are connected to that, but that can sometimes be an overall theme with when we have an issue like that, okay? Okay, so how many trapped emotions can we release today connected to the right ear without having negative side effects? Guys, make sure you put that disclaimer, that rule, if you're going to be trying this yourself, because it will let you do a lot, but you're not going to be feeling great if you do too many, because your body has a threshold, and everybody's body is a little bit different. So for Jerry today, how many trapped emotions connected to the right ear can we release today without negative side effects? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So her body's ready. 20 is a pretty good amount, okay? So this might take a little while, so grab your coffee or your tea or your orange juice or whatever and sit with us for a little bit as we go through this. And you can kind of start seeing how this is done. Okay, you doing good, Jerry?
I'm good.
Awesome, okay. So typically what I'll do, and in a session, if I'm working with someone, then I take notes and I send them notes, but I'm kind of demonstrating, so I'm not going to be doing that so much. So I'm just going to I'm going to make my list real quick, because I don't want to have to keep recounting and make sure that I've gotten all 20. So I'm just making my list of 20 spots. Okay, and when you are working, either as somebody being worked on, like Jerry is in this case, or you're the person doing the work, always have your water close by, because as you do energy work, it's very important to be hydrated so that you get consistent answers, clear results, and that you feel okay. Okay? So let's see. First one, and I want you guys, if you haven't, maybe in a different tab or a different window on your computer, if you're on your computer, pull up the emotion code chart. If you didn't see it in our group, just Google emotion code chart, and in the images you'll see it, and so you can kind of see what I'm testing from. Okay, so is it column A? Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's in row 5, blaming. How many instances of blaming are we releasing today? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 instances of blaming. Now, this is a great way to do this more efficiently, because after all, I'm a maximizer. I like to make sessions as easy as possible, not only for my client, but for myself as well. And if I can do less testing, because if I was having to test every time to keep identifying blaming, that just takes energy. But I can say, how many instances of blaming are we releasing today? And I got 8, and that saved me a lot of extra effort. So hopefully that makes sense. And with blaming, this can be blaming yourself, it can be blaming others, or it can be blaming a situation. So Jerry, as you think of blaming as these different time periods come up, think of all those different angles, okay? The first blaming, this is her own, and I test because emotion can be your own or it can be inherited. And we'll talk about that if that comes up, but this one is her own. Before 20, yes. 4, 10, no, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So this is something that happened at 14, and she does need to identify what it's connected to. So Jerry, think back to being a teenager at 14 in an instance that you might have been blaming yourself, others, or a situation.
Yeah, it was probably my parents had just divorced, and I think I was blaming myself. I was part of that.
That's awesome. So I'm as she's racking her brain, I'm testing to see if that's the right thing. Is that, yep, that's right. Now I'm going to check, is that enough to release it? Yes. So now Jerry, go ahead and do your hand with your 3 swipes. We're going to 1, 2. Take your deep breath and let me know when you're done.
Done.
Okay, so I'm checking, is that released? Yes. Okay, next one. This is her own, before 20, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 15, it does need to be identified. So think at 15, what you might have been, this was blaming yourself for something. I know I made you do like really hard things early in the morning.
I'm thinking.
You're good. And if it's not coming to the surface really quick, you can also say, okay, is it connected to my family? Is it connected to school? You know, different situations that you might have been in at that age. And we can test to narrow it down.
Okay, so is it connected to my family?
Yes, it is. Do you have siblings?
I do.
It feels like it's connected to something like some kind of responsibility over your siblings and the effects of your parents' divorce. Would that make sense at all?
Yes.
Okay, is that it?
My baby, so he's 6 years younger. He was 9. Maybe something to do with Michael.
Yep, that's what it is connected to, and that's enough to let it go. So go ahead and do your 3 swipes and let that go.
Done.
Okay, so Jerry's done. That's released. So you can see sometimes it might not come right to your mind. Sometimes a lot of times it actually will. You're like, oh my gosh, I haven't thought of that in years, and it just pops up. But sometimes you're like floundering. I'm not really sure. And that way you can use your muscle testing to narrow it down. And you can see we didn't have to get super specific. We just need to identify that it was connected to her brother, and then that was enough to let it go. Okay. So next blaming, this is your own before 20, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So this is at 18. You do need to identify it. And I'm going to narrow it down for her. So is it blaming yourself? It's blaming yourself again. At 18.
For some reason, I feel like it's something to do with my mom.
It's okay, connected to mom?
A lot.
Yes. Is that enough? That's enough to release it. So go ahead and do your 3 swipes and deep breath. Okay, that's released. Awesome. Next one. And if you guys are just jumping on us, joining us live, we are doing a live demonstration. We've got Jerry on the phone here. So if that's the other voice you're hearing. We are doing a demonstration. She has pain in her right ear, and we're releasing some emotions connected to that. Next blaming, this is your own before 20. Wow, you got a lot of here. Before 20, before 10. This one's before 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is at 8. You do not need to identify this one. You can just let it go.
Done.
Okay, great. Okay, next blaming. This is your own before 20. Yes, before 10, 10, 11, 12. So this is at 12. You do not need to identify it. You can just do your 3 swipes. So sometimes we will find these emotions that like validation, and sometimes you'll find emotions that they're like, nope, I just need to say, hey, this is the age that it happened, and let's release it. That's why I always test. Are you done, Jerry, on that one?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Next one, before 20. This is at 23. You don't need to identify it. You can just release it. For those that are jumping on, as you release it, we're just doing 3 swipes with our hand. It doesn't matter which hand, over the head, and then a deep breath in and let it go. And then we check to make sure that it's released.
Done.
Awesome.
Done.
Okay, next one. This is your own. We're still on blaming, the emotion of blaming. This is your own before 20, 10, 11. This is at 11. You do not need to identify it. You can just release it.
And I am drinking the whole time that we're doing this, Nicole, just so people know that.
Yes.
Stay hydrated.
So important. It really, some people don't notice any difference. People that are a little bit more in tune with the flow and the energy in their body will probably notice more of a difference. They might feel a little lightheaded, a little dehydrated. Sometimes people might feel a little nauseated. It's normal any way you're feeling it or not feeling it. So if you do this, just be aware. This is the last blaming. This is your own. It's before 20. This is right at 10. You do not need to identify it. We can just release it.
Done.
Okay, awesome. So we just did 8 instances of the emotion blaming, and they were almost all in her teenage and young adult years. And a lot of times, those are the ages that we don't feel heard. And especially if she's blaming, a lot of these were blaming herself, that's going to get trapped. And so that's been sitting there for those many years, and we got to get that out so that we can allow that ear to heal. Okay, so let's go on. Let's look at the next emotion. And I'm testing column A, no. Column B, yes. Row 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's row 4, 1, 2, 3. So indecisiveness is the emotion that came up. How many instances of indecisiveness? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 instances of indecisiveness. I can never type this right. Indecisiveness. First one, this is your own before 20. 12 again. So something, do we need to identify it? No, we don't need to. So that's easy. We can just let that go. So indecisiveness is just, so Jared, I'm going to talk while you're swiping. Indecisiveness is just not being able to make a decision, not knowing what to do, being confused a little bit. Are you done?
Yep.
Okay, that is released. Next, indecisiveness. This is her own. It's before 20, no. It is after 20, yes. After 30, 40, 50, 51, 2, 52, an instance of indecisive, and you do need to identify it.
Oh, okay. I want to say it was with my job. It was something to do with my work, with my corporate work.
It is connected to the job. Is that enough? That's enough to release it. So go ahead and do your 3 swipes and take a deep breath.
Okay.
So those that are just joining us, Jerry is doing this. She's doing 3 swipes. That's how we release these in emotion code. And taking a deep breath and letting it go.
Good.
Okay, next indecisiveness. This is your own before 20, before 10, 10 and 11. Okay, so this is at 11, and you do need to identify it. Kind of making you go from one into the other.
Yeah, this was when my parents, I was 11 when my parents got divorced. And so it's like, what do we do? What do we do? So those emotions, I think.
It's connected to your parents' divorce. That's enough to let it go. So go ahead and do your 3 swipes and a deep breath.
Done.
Good. Next one. This is your own before 20, after 20. This is right at 20. Does it need to be identified? No, you can just release it.
Done.
Okay, that's released. Now, something I typically do at the beginning of like a full session is I test to see how much of that concern, if it's a pain in the ear, if it's back pain, if it's headaches, if it's depression, how much is emotionally based and how much is physically based. So I'm going to take just a little time out to test that because I forgot to do that at the beginning. So with Jerry's ear, the pain in her ear, how the percentage, how much is it physically based? 5, 10, 15, 20. So it's 20% physical, 80% emotional. So that just kind of helps you know how to tackle it a little bit, how to approach it, and how you can heal it. Because if you're trying to heal something and you're throwing medications or supplements or oils at it and it's not healing, but it's primarily emotionally based and you're not looking at the emotions, then it's going to have a really hard time healing. So keep that in mind, okay? Okay, so we are still on the emotion of indecisiveness with Jerry on the phone. We are looking at the pain in her right ear. Excuse me, my trim shake is like making me burp so much. So thankfully I haven't like had a big old burp, but it's all good. It's all good. So we're on indecisiveness. The next one, this is her own before 20. Yes, 10, 11, 12. This is at 12. You don't need to identify it. You can just release it. Now we also had 12 come up. That was our first indecisive. And that's okay. That's going to happen because we have so many emotions every day of our life, 365 days a year. And so to have the feeling of indecisiveness come up once within the same year or twice or 3 times or 4 times, completely normal, right? We don't feel angry just, I've reached my anger quota for the year. I can't feel anger anymore. That's not how it works. So don't be surprised if you're trying this out on yourself, to have multiple emotions in the same year or the same emotion multiple times in the same year. So keep that in mind. Okay, so Jerry, you've released that. Next one, this is your own before 20, after 20, 21, 2. This is at 22, and you do need to identify this one. The feeling is indecisiveness.
about getting pregnant, I think. With so I think it was sometimes didn't have Rachel until 25, and so I'm trying. Do we try? Do we not? I'm thinking that that's what it is.
Yep, that's what it's connected to. Is that enough to let it go? It is. So go ahead and release that. We do the releases. For those that are just joining us, we do 3 swipes around the head like this. Take a deep breath and let it go.
Okay.
Great. Next one. This is not your own. Okay, that's by text. So these the last few, the remaining ones with indecisiveness are inherited. Yes. And we can inherit trapped emotions just like we can our hair color or eye color or our body shape or whatever from our ancestors. And so when these come up, these are easy because we just have to identify the genealogical line. Okay. And so this one is going to start on mom's side back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 generations back. Okay. So if she had her family tree, we could go and we could test the whole line. But I typically just do mom's side. And hey, Amy. So it's mom's side back 9 generations. So mom counts as 1, 2, and then 7 more generations. So the difference between how we release these on, and Jerry, go ahead and start swiping while I'm talking, is you're going to do 10 swipes instead of just the 3. So if we have an inherited or an ancestral trapped emotion, they're the same thing. We're going to release this by doing 10 swipes. And these are actually sometimes really neat, especially if it's been in there for a while. I really have felt my ancestors with me and almost rejoicing when sometimes I identify these and release them. It's a very, very sweet, tender experience. So pay attention to that if that happens. It doesn't happen for everything, but sometimes it does. And you're just like, oh, like you get to feel like that chain breaker. So Jerry, have you done your 10? Great. Okay, next one is also inherited indecisiveness. It starts on mom's side again, back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 generations. Okay, so go ahead and do your 10 swipes.
Okay.
And then we'll check to make sure that that's released.
Okay, good.
Perfect, thank you. And on these, sometimes if you have a lot of inherited, your arms can get tired. So it doesn't matter which hand you're doing it with. You can do it with your right or your left. It doesn't matter. You can switch it up if you want in between sessions. So Jerry, if your arm's getting tired, feel free to change it up, girl. Okay, next, indecisive. This is also inherited. This is on mom's side. No, mom's dad's side, back 1, 2, 3. So it's just 3. So let's see, mom's dad's dad. So your mom's dad's dad is where you got this from. So it's still 10 swipes. But that actually might be an ancestor that you knew or knew of. And that's kind of cool sometimes. Or sometimes you're like, oh, Grandma, why'd you give me that?
Done.
Perfect. That is released. And this is our last indecisiveness. And it's also inherited from mom's, nope, from dad's. And you can see what I'm testing if I'm going to check mom's side and I'm getting a no. Dad's side, dad's side, yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 generations back on dad's side. And so I'm just counting. So Jerry, while you're swiping, I'm going to be demonstrating. So dad's dad, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And after I hit 8, it breaks before I can say 9. Okay, so that's how I'm counting the generations back. And again, dad, that's 1, 2, and then 6 more if it was 8 generations back. Okay, so the the kind of start of those branches back is included in that 8. Okay, you released. Awesome. Okay, so we've got 2 more trapped emotions that are connected to the pain in Jerry's right ear that we're able to release today without having negative side effects. The next one is column A, column B, 1, 2, 3. It's on row 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stubbornness. How many instances of stubbornness? 1, 2. So the last 2 today are stubbornness. Okay, this one is your own. No, these are actually both. They're both inherited. First one from mom's side back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Wow, that's back far.
Wow.
So mom's side back 14 generations. So sometimes you'll see these traits. So you might like, you know what, I've always kind of been pretty stubborn, or I've always been more inclined to get angry, or I've always felt very indecisive, or these trapped emotions that come down. It's like, because you kind of came pre-wired that way. And so it's kind of interesting to see the trends. You're like, oh, I have, stubbornness is something that's super easy for me to do, or to be in that kind of mode. I know for me, and here, Jerry, did you finish that?
I did 10, right?
Yep. Okay, that's gone.
Done.
Awesome, thank you. Last one, this is stubbornness. This is on dad's side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Dad's side back 8 generations, so go ahead and do your 10 swipes. For me, these inherited emotions were very meaningful and like kind of an aha moment. I always had very deep feelings of worthlessness that weren't really congruent with my experiences growing up. Not that I had a perfect childhood, but my sense of worthlessness was a lot larger than my experience would warrant. Does that make sense? And as I started doing emotion code and I saw how many inherited trapped emotions I had of worthlessness, it made perfect sense, because that had been passed down to me for generations and generations. And as I've been able to release those, I no longer feel that way. It's pretty amazing. Jerry, did you finish that last stubbornness?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm all good.
Perfect. So now we have released all 20 emotions that her body is allowing us to do today. Now we're going to check real quick. Is there anything that Jerry needs to do to help her body heal? Yes. Essential oils? Yes. Aromatically? No. Topically? Yes. Internally? No. So we're just looking at topical uses. A lot of times people test for applying like an oil over their heart to help their body adjust to the energetic dumping, because this is 20 different emotions that we have kind of weeded out from the roots from her being. Do we need an oil over the heart? Yes. Okay, we need one oil. So I've got a little chart here. Scoot over. And this is just a picture of my oil drawer, because it makes it super easy for me to test. And we're going to test. We need one oil that Jerry's going to apply over her heart for the next 1, 2, 3, 4, the next 4 weeks. And I'm just testing through the different rows. And black pepper is the oil that's coming up. So Jerry is going to be, she's going to be applying black pepper over her heart. Now, typically when this is coming up when we're applying an oil for an emotional reason, I just flip the bottle real quick, very little, and just flick it on my heart. And we're going to look up, because we just let go of a lot of yucky. We want to put some good in, right? So we're going to look at my favorite book, Emotions and Essential Oils, and we're going to look up black pepper. Now, black pepper is the oil of unmasking, so it helps you get to your authentic self. Now, what I really love about this is at the bottom here, it says, so without having to read the whole description, I can look at the positive properties. And so, Jerry, I want you to listen to these positive properties and let me know if 1 or 2 of them stick out to you. And we're going to craft some affirmations to help you put some good in after we release all of those yuckies. So the positive properties of black pepper are emotional honesty, authentic, courageous, motivated, self-aware, and integrity. Are you there, Jerry? Did we lose you? No, there you are.
Yes. No, I'm here.
You're thinking.
I am authentic, courageous. Do you want me to read them one more time? Yes.
Okay. Emotional honesty, authentic, courageous, motivated, self-aware, integrity.
Emotional honesty. Yeah, I'm authentic.
Perfect.
Those are real good positive ones.
Yeah. Okay. So what Jerry's going to do let's see, we're going to do every morning and night. You just need to do this in the morning, Jerry, is you're just going to take your black pepper and just put a little flick of it over your heart. And you're going to just have like on a little note card that says, I am authentic. I am courageous. I am emotionally honest. And you're just claiming these as your new truth. You're putting some good in where you took the bad out. Because as we create space, guys, these humans just like to fill up these spaces, okay? So as we remove, we want to put good in. So I think it's very important to make sure that you are putting the good back in through positive affirmations, through just positive messages, either reading really good books or being around really uplifting people and just surrounding yourself with uplifting words that are going to put positive, good feelings in, okay? So I feel like there's one more thing that we can do to actually help relieve the pain around your ear, Jerry. So are you okay if I test for that as well?
Absolutely.
Okay, so and this is, a lot of this is just intuitive, that just kind of, it comes to my mind. So, and I just test to confirm. So would creating a custom roller bottle to apply around the ear be beneficial for Jerry? Yes. That will help clear up the pain? Yes. So I'm going to show you real quick. This is a great little thing on how to create a custom roller bottle. So first you've got to define what you're doing it for. So we are doing this for Jerry's ear, the pain in her ear, both physically and emotionally. Okay, so I'm saying both areas. Okay, and I'm looking at my little oil chart. I'm going to say how many bottles, because remember when we're testing for oils, we're going to say bottles, not oils, because some of our bottles have multiple oils because they're blends. So how many bottles in this blend? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 bottles in the blend. Just writing this down. Is this in a 10 milliliter bottle? Yes. So Jerry will mix this in a 10 milliliter roller bottle. Do they need to be added in a specific order? Yes. Can you give them to me in the order they need to be added? Yes. So we're going to mix these in the order that we test them. Okay. So I'm just going to go through and I'm just testing. Douglas fir, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 drops of Douglas fir. It's not surprising, there are a lot of generational stuff, and Douglas fir is one of those generational oils. All of our fir oils are. Patchouli, 6 drops patchouli. Okay, next one. Okay, I got sandalwood. Now there's 2 types of sandalwood, so I always test if I get sandalwood, does it matter which sandalwood? Usually it's no, sometimes it's a little specific. So it doesn't matter which sandalwood, you can do either one, Jerry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Man, 6 is like a good number for you today. Interesting. That would actually, like in numerology, you might want to look up the meaning of the number 6. That might give you some insight into why, because I've never had somebody have like 6, 6, like just having multiple of the same numbers like that. Next oil. Petitgrain, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. It's 20 drops Petitgrain. And I love Petitgrain for emotional work because it's the oil of being a chain breaker, breaking those chains, especially when we have genealogical issues going on. Petitgrain is really fabulous at helping us be that chain breaker and claiming our space and being that, playing that role. Next oil. Tangerine. And tangerine, guys, if you haven't used tangerine for pain relief, you're missing out. Tangerine is phenomenal at pain relief. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So 45 drops tangerine. Your ear's going to be smelling good, Jerry.
I like it.
Cassia, 1 drop cassia. Do you have dill, Jerry?
I do.
Okay, dill, 1 drop dill. If she didn't have dill, then we can say, is there another oil that can replace that? Yes, and we would test for that. Because sometimes you can, and sometimes like, no, you really need this specific oil, and this specific oil is the only one that has that property. Usually you can substitute it out, but you can just test that. Okay, last oil in the blend. Cardamom, 5, 10, 15, 20. 20 drops cardamom. And there, are we going to fill this with coconut oil? Yes. So you're going to fill it with FCO. Would adding gemstone chips be beneficial? Yes. So I don't think I showed you guys this last one when we were talking about stones, but I have a bunch of different, let me show you, little containers that have different chips of gemstones. So these are just little bitty pieces that I can add into a roller bottle just to enhance the blend and enhance the properties of the oils and the stones together. So let's see, gemstones, 1. So don't worry, Jerry, I'm going to send these to you in the mail. So right now I'm just looking at my jars of gemstone chips. Okay, so she's coming up with it. She needs garnet. So garnet is a beautiful deep red, almost purplish stone.
That's my birthstone.
Is it really? Really pretty. And now we can look too. Hold on, where's my little crystal Bible? So you can see how knowing how to muscle test, knowing about emotion code, knowing about gemstones, knowing about essential oils, you can all bring them together to really create a great experience. So we're going to look up, this is my crystal Bible. We talked about this last week. We're going to look up garnet and kind of see its properties and see why is her body saying that this would be great in the blend. So garnet, and I'm just going to be, because it's got a long page, so I'm just going to be kind of hitting the high notes. It's a powerful, energizing, and regenerating stone. And Jerry, didn't you say you had a burst eardrum or something in that ear?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So regenerating, like, hello, that makes sense. It cleanses and re-energizes the chakras. It revitalizes and purifies the energy, bringing serenity or passion as appropriate. So if you need more passion, it's going to up that. If you need more calming, it's going to up that. Let's see. It's a stone of abundance, so it helps you feel that there is more than enough out in the world for you, either money, time, energy, resources, whatever. There's more than enough. It inspires love and devotion. It balances the sex drive and alleviates emotional disharmony. It helps in times of crisis. It has a strong link with the pituitary gland, and the pituitary is kind of helps with regulate our sleep, hormones, things like that. It sharpens your perceptions of yourself and other people, which Jerry tested for black pepper over her heart, which is the oil of unmasking. So there's some perception shifts that are probably going to happen there, Jerry. That's exciting. It helps you let go of useless or old or obsolete ideas. It removes inhibitions and opens up the heart and bestows self-confidence. So the physical healing, it is mainly for the blood, the heart, and regenerating DNA. So, and it says the position to apply are by the ears, the finger or over the heart. So super, super cool. So what Jerry's going to do is I'm going to send her some of these little gemstone chips that you can get these at different crystal shops. You can get them online. I'm just going to send her a few. She can put them in her 10 milliliter bottle. She's going to add her oils to it, and then she's going to apply this oil around her ear twice a day. Okay? And then let's see, I forgot to check real quick, Jerry, when your body will be ready to release some more trapped emotions. So days, weeks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in 6 weeks, your body will be ready to release more trapped emotions.
Okay.
So you'll see how you feel. So Jerry, right now, do you feel any change in your ear at all? You were at a 4 out of a 10 when we started. Does it feel any different yet? Or is it still feeling about the same?
It feels better.
Awesome. So as you get this blend and you start applying that, and as your body adjusts to that energetic release, you're going to start feeling a lot better. Now, when we do an emotion code, when we do an emotional release, it might not have seemed like we were doing a lot of work, right? We're just moving our hand and taking deep breaths. But it's a huge thing to our body because, like I said, it's like weeding a garden and pulling out these weeds by the root. And when we weed the garden, the soil gets disrupted. It needs to get resettled, and sometimes that doesn't feel great. And so you want to make sure you're drinking a lot of water to help release and let these toxins, these emotional toxins out, and to make sure you rest as often as you can so that your body can regenerate and heal. And because we clear these pathways, it's like, oh, I've got new pathways. Now I've got to figure this out. And so be mindful of your body. And Jerry, if you notice any headaches, any stomach aches, anything like that over the next few days, make sure to let me know to see if we need to adjust anything. So guys, hopefully this demonstration has been helpful. Thank you so much to Jerry for being our little guinea pig this morning. And it's just, emotion code is just such a great modality because we all have emotional trauma in our past, don't we? We all have those yucky things that are very painful. And number one, do not compare your pain to someone else's. Your pain is your pain and it's painful, whether it is my mom didn't hug me enough or I was brutally attacked by some mean person. The pain is still there and the pain is still real to both people. Don't try to compare pain to pain. But emotion code is great because we can identify when it gets trapped and then we can release it without having to rehash all the yucky stuff. Because in traditional therapy, traditional therapy can be a great, great thing. Don't get me wrong. But in my experience, it kind of brings up a bunch of nasty stuff from the past. And it just kind of says, okay, here's some ways to think about it in a different way. Doesn't really tell you how to feel about it in a different way. Because we need to validate that 13-year-old kid that felt that way when that happened to her and just let it go without having to rehash the past. And so that's what's so beautiful about emotion code is that you truly are able to have this emotional release and healing without having to rehash the negative, nasty stuff that's happened in your past. So guys, I will be talking more about emotion code during this week, and it really does help relieve the trauma. And so like for me, in my experience, I had a lot of issues with my dad and some very painful memories that I couldn't go back to and think about without getting emotional. But now that I've been able to release those, I can look at that and I was like, that happened and that's sad that it happened, but it doesn't create a response. I don't feel that that instinctual response that it used to be tied to. And of course, there's a lot of other emotional techniques that you can do like EFT and visualization and things like that. So there's lots of other stuff. But we're going to be talking about emotion code throughout the week. I'm just going to be kind of dripping information here and there on you and helping you see how this modality can help you in your life. Again, thank you so much, Jerry. And guys, have a great, great week. Practice this. If this is something that calls to you, get the book. It's very, very much worth it. And if you're interested in becoming an emotion code practitioner like I am, we also have Judith is also in the group and she's also an emotion code practitioner. Let me know. Both of us have referral links that we can send you if you decide that you want to be an emotion code practitioner. And we might talk about that a little later in the day. So guys, thank you so much. Thank you, Jerry. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.